All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping into the deep end. We're tackling what might be the biggest, most fundamental question ever. It's one that's kept philosophers up at night for, well, forever. So, let's get right into it.
There it is. Seriously, just let that sink in for a moment. Why is there anything at all? We're not asking, why the universe has planets and stars. It's way, way deeper than that. We're asking, why is there something, instead of just nothing, a total void? It sounds so simple, right? But oh man, it is a rabbit hole of epic proportions.
So, to even begin to get our heads around the possible answers, we've got to be super clear on what the question actually is, because it's a bit more specific and honestly a lot more profound than it looks at first glance.
Okay, so here's the key thing. This is not a question about the Big Bang. We're not asking what caused the Big Bang or what was there before it. No, this is a metaphysical question. It's asking, why does any reality, with any set of physical laws or any kind of universe, why does any of that exist at all when it seems like pure, absolute nothingness could have been an option?
All right, so as you've probably guessed, there's no easy slam dunk answer to this one. What we have really is the sort of menu of ideas that philosophers have come up with. Think of them as different families of answers, each taking a shot at cracking this ultimate puzzle. So let's check out the main contenders.
Okay, first up on the menu is something called the necessary being or a necessary reality. The core idea here is that some aspect of reality, well, it just has to exist. It's not an accident, its non-existence is just not a possibility.
So, what's great about this idea? Well, its biggest strength is that it's a final answer. It puts a stop to that endless why this, why that chain of questions. It's the ultimate buck stops here. But, and this is a big but, the weakness is pretty glaring. Are we really explaining anything by just saying it's necessary? Or have we just slapped a fancy label on the very same mystery we're trying to solve? All right, option number 2. This one flips the whole thing on its head. It's called the brute fact position. And honestly, it's kind of the philosophical equivalent of just shrugging your shoulders. The argument here is super simple. Things just are. Existence exists, and that's the end of the story. There's no deeper why. The upside? It's honest, right? It doesn't invent some complex, mystical explanation. But the downside, and this is a big one for a lot of people, is that it's pretty unsatisfying. It basically says the biggest question of all doesn't have an answer. And that feels a little like just giving up.
Okay, to really get why these two ideas, the necessary being and the brute fact, are mortal enemies, we need to talk about a really important philosophical tool. It's called the Principle of Sufficient Reason, or PSR for short. And it's actually something we all kind of believe instinctively, that stuff doesn't just happen for no reason at all. Every fact, everything that happens, has to have some kind of explanation for why it is the way it is.
And this is where things get really interesting. Because if you accept that principle, the PSR, you're immediately forced into a corner with only two ways out. Path 1, the chain of explanations, this happened because of that, which happened because of that, goes on literally forever, in infinite regress. Or path 2, the chain has to end somewhere. It has to stop at something that explains itself, something necessary. So see, the PSR forces a choice, an endless chain or a necessary being. The only way to believe in a brute fact is to throw out the principle of sufficient reason altogether.
Okay, so we've been talking a lot of philosophy here, but I know what you're probably thinking. What about science? We have amazing theories in physics and cosmology about how our universe got started. Surely science has an answer for us, right? Well, let's see.
Look, science is unbelievable at explaining the how. A physicist might tell you, for example, that our universe popped into existence from a quantum vacuum, and that's incredible. But it doesn't really answer our ultimate why question. It just makes us ask a new one. Okay, so why was there a quantum vacuum? And why did it have those particular laws of physics? You see? Science is great at pushing the question one step further back, but it doesn't actually get rid of it.
So, where does all this leave us? We've looked at philosophy, logic, even a bit of science. And what the source material suggests is that this whole massive, mind-bending debate really comes down to one single fundamental choice, a real fork in the road.
And here they are, laid out plain and simple. In one corner, you've got the brute fact, the idea that existence is just a cosmic accident. It just is, and there's no deeper reason. In the other corner, you have the necessary ground, the idea that something has to exist, that it's the solid foundation for everything else that's contingent. And that's it. That's the core conflict. This is the choice you have to make.
So which one is it? Well, let's be totally honest here. Nobody has proven this one way or the other. It's still very much an open question. But the source we're looking at today does lean in one direction while still giving a big nod to just how much we don't know. Because that principle of sufficient reason, that gut feeling that things need an explanation, is so powerful, the source favors the necessary ground idea. It just feels like a more satisfying end to the chain of questions. Now, what that necessary ground is it a being? Is it some kind of mathematical reality? Is it just existence itself? That's a whole other can of worms. But the basic idea of a necessary foundation is seen as a better bet than just a random, unexplained fact.
But I really have to stress this. It's a reasoned preference, not a cold, hard proof. And this quote really says it all. You can't prove any of these answers with human reason alone. Every single option has major problems and unanswered questions. So, at the end of the day, it's still a mystery.
And so we're kind of back where we started, but hopefully with a much clearer picture of the choice we face. Is all of this, everything, just one giant cosmic accident? A brute fact with no explanation? Or is there something necessary at the heart of it all, a bedrock that makes reality inevitable? It's the ultimate fork in the road. The question is, which path makes more sense to you? Thanks for digging into this with us.